teams that a lot of people were looking at as top 3, top 4 in the league, they're sitting at 1-4 and looking like one of the teams that really does not have their stuff together.
Yeah, and that's going to be an important thing to continue to watch is the new addition to the squad was Crown in the mid lane. He has not been having a good year. Very, very low damage. Arguably worst laning stats of any mid laner here in the league right now, and it then all falls to Stixxay. Stixxay's been pretty good. He had 1,000 damage per minute yesterday or the day before on that Aphelios game. Aphelios is banned. Xayah's taken. Falls to MF, which he played 2 hours ago on this stage in Academy, so he's warmed up on it, and he had a good game there, so I do want to see if Stixxay can put on another carry performance.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit rough for Stixxay too, because since he's playing both ways and both teams are doing poorly, I do feel like that has got to be even more draining for you. Yes, he did pick up a win in an Academy, but before that, it was like 6-7 losses in a row for him, as he hadn't played all of the Academy games. So, that is a bit tough, I think, mentally to get through. We also have to remember that they did get their win with Soraka, right? And I don't know if they're going to be able to get back to that pick, if that will be left available. Especially when we are going into the second round of bans here. Ornn has been picked. Soraka would be a good matchup into that if you want to go for that type of play. So I would not be surprised to see it banned away by Immortals if they're at all concerned about it, because so many people are giving credit for that victory to Soraka.
Sure, and of course Immortals should be very willing to flex the Ornn to the mid lane and hold on for the final counter pick, which I think is going to be very, very likely. We should be seeing support pick next once the bans are through. We, of course, know CLG hasn't grabbed their support either, so that's going to be a fairly equal trade, and we'll continue to wait to see. There's Kiana at the table, which is what you see a lot when there's an Ornn on the squad, is get some extra damage output there with the Elise being a match damage jungler. Yeah. You're allowed to play AD carry, tank, plus another AD damage.
I'm expecting CLG's last ban to probably be Rakan. I don't think you're really going to want to give over the Xayah Rakan combo for free. Yes, you can try to target another mid laner here for Eika, but there's so many. I don't think that there's one absolute must ban, and generally speaking, Xayah is only really played with Rakan these days at pro level. A lot of people feel that it is a really important pick. Yeah,
and even then, as you're mentioning, I wouldn't ban mid laners anyway because he'll just play Ornn. Like if you had 17 bans and you ban like Orianna, LeBlanc, Zoe, whatever, it's like that's fine. I'm just gonna play Ornn, like whatever. So I was go play some more Cho'Gath or who cares what. Nautilus gonna come through as the next go-to engage support. I still am quite partial to Leona myself, but not gonna be grabbed here. Just the standard Nautilus. And now we get to see CLG having to show who's playing top lane and then let that Ornn pick the matchup. We know Rumble is likely to be mid here for Crown, and we'll see what Ruin's going to blind pick here.
So I think to your point about Leona has higher highs, right? It is an incredibly strong champion. One of the things that you're always going to hear people talk about when they go to Nautilus is reliability. I put my mouse on the person, I press R, they're going to get knocked up, right? Where you can see the Leona ultimate flashed away from, dashed away from, avoided in many different ways. And that is more, I think, the concern a lot of times when these two champions are being compared. But it is going to be Leona with the possibility of kind of diving onto Xayah here. And Leona plus MF is a very strong kill lane. Leona can lock people down for the Misfortune ultimate. And you do have the ability, especially post 6, for these 100-0 combos.
Now the expected blind top laner, Aatrox gets locked in. Of note, Soraka was still available to be picked, wasn't banned away. Immortals cared more about the Braum into Ornn, obviously blocks the ultimate, pretty strong pick there. So now Immortals can flex and choose the top laner they want to play. Cho'Gath GP was the top lane matchup last time around. Now what is it going to be now that we know Aatrox is up there, and it's going to be Ornn staying up top and Azir coming into the mid lane.
Okay, very interesting. So it is going to be Azir into Rumble. Obviously, you are going to outrange the Rumble quite a lot, but Rumble does have very good push in the early game. Can kind of lock the Azir under the turret at times, and Azir is much more of that scaling pick. You do need time to get things going. Rumble, as soon as you hit 6, you really are ready to go to fight around these objectives. Eika, it seems like, is going to be kind of that late game insurance. There's a tremendous amount of scaling on the Immortals side. If it does go late, I favor their comp very heavily when you're taking into consideration the guaranteed engage between Nautilus and Ornn, the Ornn upgrades, as well as Xayah and Azir for those big hyper carries in the late stages. But CLG has a lot of ability to be able to make things happen early. Great gank assist, with this Leona. The ability to kind of group up with the Lee Sin and make things happen alongside some very powerful AoE ultimates with the Rumble on that. That is going to be great for fighting at neutral objectives, and that really has kind of been the name of the game in Season 10.
All right, well, here we go. Comps on your screen. We get more dog chance for sOAZ, but as Cho'Gath was so good last time, might just see it again. It's going to be an interesting one to watch for. I think it's worth looking at Immortals as a squad, what they've done so far this year. They've had actually year-long a very, very bad early game. Them and CLG, the only squads with under 1,000 average gold deficit at 15. But they slaughtered the early game last time around. If they can stay on that form, I expect a whole lot of work done for them.
And I think so much of that credit is deserved by Xmithie for that early game. He was incredible on the rec side. Really felt like he was everywhere, making multiple trips up to the top side, being able to get advantages for sOAZ, which he then made good on. We know he can get similar things done on the Elise, another really powerful early game ganker. So we'll see what he has in store for us here. One of the immediate things I'm looking to is I'm very surprised by the barrier on Rumble here for Crown. That is not something I've really ever seen taken here, by Rumble. Generally, it is Ignite that is very, very common, and we could be actually in some trouble here.
That's going to be a lot of damage. The fullback has to learn and throw down the ward. Now, Lee's pretty often learn W level 1 anyway. Yeah, that's not a huge loss, but has to burn the trinket, and gave Hakuho some padded stats and, damage per minute.
Yeah, it pushes him out a little bit, but, generally if you're going to go defensive summoners as a mid laner and you're playing against Elise, you see a lot of cleanse, right? And there's a ton of CC there. But that being said, Barrier is, if used well, a really, really powerful defensive summoner. It's going to absorb more damage than heal would heal you for, so that can be quite nice. And if you're looking at any potential kind of aggressive plays between Scrap Shield and Barrier, it can be surprising how much you can really absorb. Yep. One of the recent nerfs, though, to Rumble was that rank 1 Scrap Shield got nerfed quite heavily, and that is the last skill you actually do level up. Yeah, which means you're kind of sitting on that nerf Scrap Shield. I believe it was about 20 less shielding.
But I believe that nerfs the next patch. That's 10.3, right?
I thought that was already in.
I have actually kind of forgotten because the patch was like 13 days ago at this point.
Okay, so I could be wrong. Maybe that was 10.3 and not a 10.2.
Yeah, either way, though, that's going to be a really big deal.
Someone will let us know on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that's the 10.3 change. Regardless, though, we've got bot lane early push here for the Immortal squad. Hakuho doesn't want to look for the Q. He'd be practically next to the turret, and it'd be a pretty easy trade back. You can see Smoothie sits in front, says, I will be the one to tank the anchor. I will just Q right back and get my own Aftershock on, so that won't be much of a problem as they clear some minions back and forth.
Yeah, you kind of expect, I think, the Nautilus as well as the Xayah to have a bit of early push here. But that being said, as Stixxay does get some more levels under his belt, there is potential to kind of combat that. MF does have pretty good push of her own. And we are going to see them take this time to actually get a bit of a deep ward. And I think this is always really nice when you can kind of get a ward a little bit further into your opponent's jungle. You're often going to get more information from this. He sees that the Krugs are actually up with his ward that he did place there. You can see both these camps have been warded. The red buff was the start, which we already know is gone. So this gives you the information that Wiggily went to the top side. And as soon as Wiggily goes anywhere down on that bot side, it's going to be to one of those two camps. So they're going to have the information of where he would be.
Oh, good stuff then. We'll see if the Elise can get anything done at all then, or if it's going to be a farm fest. Of note, Ruin has the highest jungle proximity of all top laners. And as Wiggily ends the topside jungle, he's up towards with his top laner pushing, trying to poach topside camps here as well, and looks like chickens are his, and Ruin's coming down to make sure that's going to stick.
Yeah, very interesting. You can see, again, warding on the other side. Both teams kind of just trying to track each other's junglers. Both these camps warded out. And it's Xmithie, who knows Wiggily is still up on that top side, knew he hadn't shown on either of these camps. So he just says, all right, well, I'm just going to go straight in for the invade. And he will leave that last little raptor alive. They're worth very little experience as far as the total picture. So it's almost always worth leaving one little raptor up just as a counter jungling move, because so much of the experience is in that big raptor. And now it is a 3-man play potentially towards that mid lane.
Well, state right now is a temporary Scuttle Crab lead for Wiggily as he's going to take the recall and come back with his red smite. But Xmithie going to answer that pickup, and so the jungler's going to have very similar camps done and very similar CS overall. Xmithie's going to stay out on the map, actually, and look towards the bottom side. I think he's kind of predicting the Lisa and recall, and maybe he can cut him off at Krugs.
Yeah, we'll see if he does catch him there. Ooh, Xmithie going to kind of get a little bit of the bad end of that timing. If he was a little bit later, Wiggily likely would have started that camp. And then if you spend the spells on it, Elise can kind of take that fight. But because Wiggily did actually spot him on the way over there, and his bot lane is closer, it's really too risky of a play to move forward.
And Crown knows Elise's bottom side, does get the vision, says hello, puts on the W. 80-point shield at rank 1, so it is pre-nerf Scrap Shield, and Crown feels comfortable here. Does have the CS deficit. I think that's kind of expected on the matchup. There's just enough damage coming out from the Azir that Crown has to be respectful, and Gets what he can, overheats again. Decent damage. Oh, that's actually the first slow. This is so much damage. Iika, you're gonna get punched again. Has to burn the flash. If that E landed, he was dead. And Crown could have flashed for the Q and chose not to.
You have barrier. Why did you not flash for that kill? That's a guaranteed kill. Even if someone comes and actually gets you afterwards, that should have been first blood there for Crown. And honestly, a pretty big mistake, it seemed like, from Iika. I think he just did not save a soldier to actually be able to E backwards. And Crown recognized that, went for the all-in play. If he had Ignite, it would have been a free kill. Even without it, though, I think that should have been a kill.
Well, at the very least, it's a recall and it relieves some lane pressure. But yeah, that could have been so much bigger in the mid lane. And Crown, who's been having some troubles this year, finally gets at least a win in the laning phase, even if only moderate.
The question is, can you make good on that advantage? Can you actually punish him for being down the flash? Because if you can't, then who cares, right? You really didn't get much from it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be able to call up Smoothie and try to make a three-man play, try to get something done there. There's no cleanse, obviously, on Iika, so Leona plus Wiggily coming over, you can maybe punish that, but I think that should be the focus for CLG for the next couple minutes. You really want to get something out of that.
Well, right now it's back to farming for the junglers here as Ruin's trying to shove in top side and has a decent CS lead, but sOAZ should pick up a lot of this.
Yeah.
They get close yet again. These aren't going to be too big of issues, and here comes the Q. Here comes the W. Look at all that beautiful AoE damage. Slam!
Yeah, nicely cleared out there, and we'll see if he's back up to actually get the rest. Only missed one, so really good CSing by sOAZ. Sitting pretty much dead even here with Ruin. We knew that Wiggily was playing a lot on that top side of the map because of the warding that they had done, so he was going to have to sit back in the early lane. That is kind of where Ornn can sometimes get an advantage in these melee matchups, and that was taken away from him. So credit to sOAZ for being up farm in that situation.
Merkrez rushed in for Crown. As yeah, the top gets shoved in, gonna get caught down by Ruin, and we can see some mid lane pressure coming out a little bit.
Yeah, barrier plus the Merkrez. Very, very defensive setup here from Crown. We'll see what he can get done. It is Xmithie moving his way towards mid lane. And we'll look for a bit of a play here. I think Immortals are sensing the fact that CLG may want to try to capitalize on that flash being down, so they were trying to be in that area too.
Oh, wow, now he burns his own flash by face-checking Hakuho, and oh, now that mid difference has gone entirely. The TP is burned to get the minions back for Iika, and yeah, he's still up about a wave of farm overall, so yeah, I'd really do whatever that would have looked like with a kill for Crown, but end of the day, that's the game state we're in. 600 gold lead for CLG overall. Gigantic lead in the bottom side. You're seeing okay, it's going to be more like a 10 CS difference as Altec clears this out, but Altec and Hakuho have been having a pretty weak laning phase of late. Xmithie going to find the stun of the re-engage. Blue is stolen, but Smoothie can just walk away back to his teammate, and a blue steal is going to look really good against Azir.
Yeah, Stixxay actually has it, and that was smoked to 1 HP by Wiggily.
Nice.
Where Stixxay then did get it, which leads me to believe was not an intentional donation of that blue buff.
Counting.
Stixxay going to be happy to receive it, nonetheless.
This Phreak is going to go over. We should take the last hit here. Extra 50 gold, sorry, 50 XP for killing the monster yourself, and indeed grabs that one. CLG still remaining 200 gold up, plus the Cloud Drake, plus the blue steal.
Yeah, and with that blue buff down on the bottom side, you can just kind of liberally use your spells a lot more as the MF. You don't have to worry too much about that. So should give them a bit of an edge there and help them to maintain the advantage that they've already created for themselves.
Yep. Here comes the Q spam. Hakuho takes one of them. He's coming up in a second. He's going to drop that one down as well and just keep the spells going. Should feel comfortable for the next minute and a half or so.
Yeah, so not too much time until Iika has that flash back. You know, about a quarter of that cooldown left, so a little bit over a minute. And, you know, no visits really from CLG towards that mid lane. So no advantage now has been gained from that pressure that Crown got. Could have been a solo kill. Didn't really get to follow up on this. And this is one of the things that I think, you know, CLG at times has been getting criticized for, is not capitalizing on the advantages where they can find them. But then they go.
Sonic Knight is on Hakuho. Should die for this. And the ult makes it happen. First blood. CLG in the 2-on-2.
Nicely done there by CLG, punishing using this level 6 MF. They have the blue buff, they get a little bit of poke down and commit the summoners. 3 blown, but they are going to be able to grab this kill. So let's watch this one more time. There is a ward down for CLG, so they have full vision of this. Hakuho pretty low, and the Zenith Blade does follow over. It was a well-buffered hook from Hakuho, but then flash to follow. The Ignite goes down, ultimate to be able to finish that off. So just a little bit of an overextension from this Immortals bottom lane. And post 6, you have got to respect MF plus Leona. it is an incredibly strong kill lane. And sOAZ is trying to push this in so they could dive.
Maybe even
He's
baiting
so low.
the fight, but Xmithie goes the other way around, so no dive. In fact, Miniway wasn't there in time anyway, but can he bait more of the fight? That's the second Q down, gets away from the cocoon, and Ruin shouldn't have too many issues here, but Xmithie has the red buff, has to be a little respectful. Here comes more of the squad, though. Wiggly's there, but so is Hakuho in the brush.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where when all of a sudden the opposing top laner has been playing fairly passively, starts trying to aggressively shove in the wave, you're like, it might be getting dove, right? So Ruin tries to clear out the wave, tries to contest for that, and as a result, sOAZ had to use the ultimate early. He would have just died straight up in a continued 1v1. This is a dangerous TP, though. Can they actually punish? No?
Just takes the Spiderling and walks away. Lanes haven't moved around, though. Keep in mind that Eika spent a lot of time towards the top side as the Xayah picked up the mid lane wave. Crown shoves one in, but no one is bot lane right now. That is Farm just kind of going to waste, minions killing each other. CLG finding the time to go top side. 10-minute rip throw play does come through. Wiggily grabs it.
And Immortals are just going to give it up. They're not going to actually decide to contest there. The TP was not available for sOAZ. They did recall on a couple members, so they're actually going to send Azir down to the bottom side now. We're going to have Altec here, parked out in that mid lane, looking to try to catch up a little bit on the farm, as Stixxay very rich in this game, 700 gold ahead of that next closest member, who is in fact Altec.
Yeah, 400 gold for the first blood, and the rest of that is all CS, as he's got a fairly close game otherwise, but you see a 1,200 gold lead for CLG. That's, I mean, mountains above what they typically are in the early game. They've had very rough trials in the early game, but Immortals giving them the openings. Bot lane has been a sore point in their early game.
Yeah, and they have a couple minutes to drop this Rift Herald, right, and extend that lead even further. So we'll see where they're going to elect to go with that. You can see Leona and Elise heading down towards that bottom side. It does look like they want to try to make a move over towards the Azir. We'll see if Eika is going to be able to respond to this or actually spot it out, as a ward did get placed down and is being pinged out. So they're trying to kind of sneak around it. We'll see if they can actually look to make this play, because there are a lot of members missing, so Eika may have sussed this out.
Stixxay knows he's got no vision anywhere. A lot of control through the mid lane, plays very far back. There's the ult for the slow. The second stun's gonna land as well. Eika could not possibly get away, and a 3v1 finds the kill.
Yeah, very well done by CLG. It's a good roam, and tracking of the vision was key there. You know, they were not lazy on tracking where those wards did go down. There was a lot of pings that went down on the Immortals ward in the area. As a result, they get the kill. They still have Rift here. They're trying to knock down multiple turret plates, and they're actually looking for a dive on Xmithie.
Dive. Barriers takes a couple of turret shots. There's Repel back into the air. He's going to stay alive for now, but there's still a wave. But the wave is now gone. Red Smite means damage could be prevented. And here comes the rest of the squad now as well. Altec finds Smoothie, cannot be knocked up either. A lot of damage coming through, finds a stun, but there's no way Smoothie's gonna drop down for this one. And Eika is back in the mix as well, wants to pick off Crown. He's so low on health, a couple more shots would kill him. Xmithie gotta look for something after the slows. Oh, and after those autos come in, Crown is running for dear life, has to flash just in case there is a play. Maybe could have saved it, but really tight timing there. Just barely lives.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get out, but Smoothie did go down, and now the dive on Stixxay.
Oh, he is definitely gone for that one. Somebody heal, not gonna matter. Altec picks someone up with sOAZ setting it through.
Yeah, great roam from sOAZ. We saw that the ultimate was dropped early by Stixxay. He was just trying to clear the wave. He knew that there were down members on the map. They just lost on that bottom side.
Oh, he jumps over a bit more than he wanted. He's running out of health. Wiggly's got a flash. The flash follow. Wiggily kills himself.
Yeah, Wiggily just kind of charged right in there, assumed that sOAZ would already be gone. Instead, he is not. He is going to give his life, and it will be a dragon going Immortals' way. So CLG getting very, very sloppy in these last couple of minutes. They have made some positive plays, but the last couple ones have been all Immortals. As we're going to see this bottom lane play one more time. Snuck around that ward. It did actually look like you could see him walking into the brush. I'm not sure if that was Spectator bug or not. There may have been a small window where Eika could spot that. Either way, they got the initial kill. Then I feel like you could just get the first plate and drop the Herald, and you could probably potentially challenge for that. Instead, they overdove. They get punished there. Stixxay pretty low. Knows he has to ult out the wave, but sOAZ is already here. Great knock up straight into that blade caller from Altec, and that was just a really well-coordinated dive.
Yeah.
Not giving Stixxay any chance, who had no flash.
Yep, nothing Stixxay could have done aside from not test the wave, but it's seductive. You can so easily ult the wave and not be caught, but again, sOAZ, great roam. give him credit for that one there. Eika maybe should have just flashed the Solar Flare when he first saw it, because he wasn't locked out until that landed. That could have been available. Maybe that would have changed things around. But here's the game state, 300 gold difference.
And when we checked in last on the gold, it was actually Stixxay, 700 gold up on Altec, and that has now swung around despite the fact that they won lane, they were up in farm. It is actually a 300 gold advantage for Altec because he has picked up 3 straight kills. He got the Smoothie kill on the overdive. He also picks up the kill on Stixxay in the mid lane, so he's been a beneficiary of a couple of these plays. And now the Rift Herald just gets dumped bot lane, post plates being down,
yeah, and
it's not going to get a turret kill, so really not getting the most out of this from CLG. Really just felt like they could have dropped it on that previous play.
At least it's going to be some damage, but you're right, the turret should stay alive. They don't want to commit too far because Hakuho's right there, and that would have been dangerous for Crown, who's flashless. Yeah, that's greed by CLG. They thought they could get 2 plates down, then summon is the pretty standard play. Get it to half, then charge in with the true damage. That didn't happen.
Yeah, and they're now trying to set up a dive here on Crown. 4 members coming in here. He's getting completely surrounded. He is going to get the wave.
Catch all the melees, though, and that actually creates a lot of space. He's got to be careful. Does juke the first bit, but that's an easy ult on top. Barrier won't change much. They knock him down. That ult needed to be a bit farther back. He had to walk up to clear the minions.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? You know, I just don't think there's any outplaying that 4-man dive with point-and-click ultimate from Hakuho. It was a good sidestep, but I do agree. Ultimate could have been placed better. Either way, Crown goes down. Barrier expended there, too. But it is Ruin pushing topside. Throughout all of this, Ruin has just been kind of parked up in that top lane trying to get advantages. You know, we saw that roam to mid lane from sOAZ. Ruin stayed up there the whole time, so he has extended a CS advantage and actually has a bounty purely through that CS edge that he now has. So we'll see if he can use some of the gold he has been able to pick up to, make up for the deficit his team has been kind of getting elsewhere. Because right now, he is the entire lead for the squad.
Alrighty, 1,000 gold difference going to be halved as Altec gets some more solo gold, and look at him moving up to 6,800 gold earned, still highest in the game. And Immortals looking to tie for second with a win here, and they are in striking distance of making that happen.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think when you take into consideration the compositions, when you take into consideration the scaling and team fighting prowess and ease of execution, I think Immortals are in a great position right now. I think that they're honestly pretty heavily in the lead. All things considered, the Mountain Dragon more valuable than it would normally be for this squad too, because there's 2 real tanks. You have Leona and the Ornn, so they're getting a lot out of that bonus armor and MR, where normally you're not getting as much if you're playing kind of these pure carry style teams. So they're in a great spot, and we'll just have to see if they can execute on that, because CLG had been looking good, had created some early game advantages, but kind of flubbed on them.
Yeah, and that's going to be rough, right? When you want to play aggressively and all you do is give gold away, you kick yourself, and you got to make sure, though, to play League right, you still have to play aggressively, right? You know, you miss all the shots you don't take. Thank you, Michael Scott, for that one. And otherwise, it's a stun on the front line, and now the equalizer on the top looks pretty good. The stun, good cleanse by Altec, and it forces a lot of flashes out. Layering of ultimates is pretty good, forcing summoners out of Immortal.
Yep, they get the flash off Xmithie, they get the cleanse off Altec, so a great proactive play, but here's Ornn to clear out the way.
Oh, 3 knockups, I think it was, and this could be a really good re-engage. Eika already burns the E to get across the wall, can't find the second bit of it.
Yeah, I like the ulti there a lot from sOAZ. Pushes them back, helps to clear the wave. Wiggily gets poked low, so in the end, it is just kind of this trade of abilities. The flash out from Smoothie, the flash out from Xmithie. They do go up as far as the one summoner spell with that cleanse expended by Altec, but all things considered, pretty even. Ruin, though, looking like he should be able to grab this bot lane tower, so we'll see, can there be anything answered on the top side? It looks like Immortals are going to try to trade Rift Herald for that bottom tier 1.
Well, at this point, Herald is essentially half a turret in expected value, and, well, finishing this half of the turret is generally more positive than a random half of a random turret, so that is a nice one there. Ruin up 35 CS in the matchup and shoving in the 1v1 pretty easily.
Yeah, when you look at the fact that they're actually going to be able to grab the Ocean Dragon here too, becomes a pretty nice trade for CLG. They grab the turret, they grab the Ocean Dragon. We'll see how much Immortals can get on this. They are pushing in top lane, so maybe you're going to be able to drop the Rift Herald there, but Immortals actually on a reset after that Rift Herald, they lose the mid lane turret too, so losing a lot in this last 2 minutes.
Okay, so look at this now. Turret is answered. That means we are only at the 1,000 gold difference, 19 minutes into the game. But second Drake picked up by CLG. We go towards Therapy Rift with the nice extra flowers as mid is pushed down though. 3 versus 2 is safe enough for CLG as Flame Spitter knocks down most of these minions. And here comes the charge. There is the turret falling, so can't fault them too much for that one. But it looks like again it looked like they were slightly out of range on the local gold, but I think my eyes were tricking me there.
Yeah, pretty much dead even as far as the gold does go now, though. There's the one dragon advantage for CLG. The Ornn upgrades now coming in for Ornn. A tremendous amount of value in Sunfire plus Abyssal. Those are the 2 most valuable as far as just the raw additional stats you will get from these items. Obviously a pretty popular topic of conversation, it seems, in Season 10.
Yeah.
But we'll see where else his teammates are going to go as far as the items to be built that can be upgraded first. You know, I'm looking immediately at Altec, thinking that Infinity Edge is going to be coming in there. That could be the first target with the Molten Edge. A very strong upgrade as you get a lot of flat AD with that.
That's going to be really nice. Level 13, you can give it over, and it's going to be a really good amount of stats. sOAZ is about a wave away from that, so as soon as the item comes through, which, you know, Altec is about 800 gold from having that. That's going to look really nice for him. Still this tight game, 500 gold difference, and if you count Ornn items as gold, the Immortals are technically winning in inventory. What if this is basic? What if they land this? Look at the call! They knew he was there, it forced the flash away. That was in fog, but they knew he had to be recalling that brush.
Yeah, that's just a great ultimate from Smoothie. Has confidence to go for it. They do get the flash out of Eika. Stoneplay also now completed for Smoothie, so he's going to be very, very tanky if it does come to that 5v5. If you can get in the midst of things, have the Aftershock up, have your W on, and that Stoneplay can become so damn hard to kill until those start to expire.
Gold is tied, though. Immortals managed to pick up enough waves that they've tied up the game overall. 3 minutes to the next Drake comes through. CLG don't think they're in such a great position to really take that one over, so I don't think Soul is going to be an obvious sort of point of this game. Mid-turret summoned there by Eika to keep some more mid-control for a few more seconds as they just go ahead and run over the top river. They're going to have easy control over all that.
Yeah, moving up towards that top side, and they do have really good Baron damage. So that's something that CLG is always going to have to be nervous about anytime you do not have vision in this area. And for now, it is really good vision all around here for Immortals, right? This whole area is basically only their wards.
I feel like actually that could have been snuck. Now that's a bold call. I'm not saying they should have snuck it, but I don't think CLG ever did anything to recheck on that top of the pit unless there's a ward I'm missing, but
no,
realistically,
there's nothing in there.
That theoretically just could have been a sneak out of nowhere. And just to kind of, you know, symbolize the point you made.
Yeah, it is definitely possible. And anytime there's a Azir alone, you have got to be very, very scared. And then Azir plus Xayah, that is really, really, really fast. And Molten Edge now has been completed. Double Ornn upgrade is completed. So that's many thousands of gold of additional. You know, Ornn alone is getting over 3,000 gold worth of stats for those 2 items. The Infinity Edge upgrade is another 1,000 or so gold extra. So quite powerful. And when you take that into consideration, you're looking really at like 40,000 gold worth of value there for Immortals.
Here we go. Look at the ult under the mid lane, but it only really catches Smoothie. Doesn't mean a whole lot there. A quick slow towards sOAZ, but he's so tanky, of course. 3,000 gold after, sorry, 3,000 health even after being injured, but Ruin wants in. Lands the passive, lands the first knockup. They could get more here onto sOAZ. W comes in, but they're going to find the stun right afterwards, and sOAZ will be knocked down, but Crown will be chased here as well. They've got the damage. A 1-for-1, a trade of soul in, but a flash over the wall. Eika is flashless, ultiless, knocked up yet again, and cannot get away. Smoothie with the body block sadly takes both kills, but deserved those all the same.
Yeah, that was really well done, and sOAZ thought he could get out of there without blowing his flash. By the time he actually expended it, it did nothing for him. He wasn't able to create any meaningful distance. CLG will get those 2 kills on the solo laners and this mid lane tier 2. Another good trade for them. Yes, they did lose Crown, but pretty expensive fight, you've got to say, here for Immortals. And it was the initial engage for them, but they only caught Smoothie with that knockup, and then it is the slow retreat. Ruin comes in, and sOAZ splits up from the team. He needed to go left, I think, to the rest of the team. And then the Infernal Chains here, that I think is where you need to kind of flash over the wall early. He waits, gets locked down, does get punished, and it's another kill now for Immortals as Wiggily died and blew flash during that replay. So back and forth, members getting caught out.
Yeah.
Looked like Wiggily was probably trying to set up for that dragon, but Immortals with the jungle advantage now here are going to be able to grab an easy dragon.
Yeah. and it didn't cost Immortals an ult or a flash or anything. Hakuho's ult's still on cooldowns. They just caught him out with maybe just an anchor toss into the feathers.
Yeah.
It was enough, so it ties the Drake score here. Both these squads going to have one Ocean. The gold difference is still about 1,000 to CLG's favor. They're squeaking that by once in a while, but it's still a pretty reckless game in the mid game.
And Ocean Soul is going to be very, very big if we are going late, where it kind of feels like this game does go. I think it is the most powerful soul by quite a lot. It feels like the easiest to kind of get a lot of use out of in almost every fight. It's going to be tremendously valuable. And you know, the effective HP it's going to give you almost always feels like it's much more than the Mountain Soul, unless you're getting 100 to 0'd, in which case Mountain can be better. But you know, especially when I've been fighting against tanks, I always feel like Ocean Soul on someone like Ornn, it feels like you can never kill him, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to 100 to 0 this character. He's going to have the Ocean Soul ticking for that health constantly throughout the fight, and it just makes it so you take so damn long to punch through that front line that any sort of reasonable play from carries usually wins you the fight.
Well, 10 minutes ago till Soul comes in, if it does at any point. Until then, you can be a bit less respectful of the possibility of those healing. If it does come through, though, you do want to see Merlin halves the value of a Soul in any reasonable situation, and that's going to be about the best value you can find. We'll see if that comes through later on, though. Still, neither team is close to it.
Yeah, quite a long ways off. Just the way that these two teams have been playing, it feels like they only really want to fight around objectives. They only really want to kind of look for that. Ruin has been very happy to just sit heavily in the side lane and try to create his own advantages there. But it is now the collapse coming in on him. So as the ult.
Does get the knock-up. Here comes Ghost as well through the spell, but they're going to have a really good chase down. A single knock-up is had, but they're going to find even more with Eika. Comes in with the first Soldier. Ruin ults for more moves. That's going to get him out, but now they're re-engaged. That's pretty good bullet time damage. But can they find round 2 in the 4v3? It's Immortals just walking away, losing 2 summoners, actually 3.
This could be barren. I think CLG will just run right for it. That bullet time chunked so many members low. I think you should just start this, and they will. So it's going to be Immortals forced to get right back out on the map. Xmithie now has no flash, had to reset. sOAZ is on the other side of the map, needs the TP to even get here.
Xmithie flashless, does have repel. The vision has been mostly cleared out. It's down to half HP. Equalizer not available as the squad comes around. So on the bottom side, already TP'd now as well. Do they go for the play? Do they go for the smite? Do they go for the fight? And here comes the play in the front side. Big damage and a crown has to kite away. Just staying alive. Smoothie drives a start a kick out of 3, but they can't get the re-engage. Counterlogic aiming out of health, out of cooldowns, and running for dear life. Eika slowed. One out of the burn. Leandri's Torment is the torment of the Immortals mid laner as the blue goes over now as well. A 1-for-1. Trade of support for mid. That could be a re-engage at some point for CLG.
Yeah, that final kill swinging things in the favor of CLG, but Immortals, that initial team fight looked very, very good for them. CLG could not get past the front line. It was Hakuho and sOAZ absorbing all of the damage with the stone plate pop, and the carries were in a really good position here. It's all about Altec and Eika. You have to be able to get past the others to get onto them. They were not able to do so. Smoothie engaged onto Xmithie, who dropped the early Zhonya's usage, buying a lot of time, and then good kick from Wiggily to knock multiple tanky members through each other. You know, pretty good damage there, but yeah, one shot over the wall from Stixxay plus the burn coming through on Crown was enough to actually kill off Eika. We are seeing, though, a little bit of a preview of why it can be so difficult for CLG to fight against Immortals in the later stages of the game.
Big damage there. Scorch, Comet, Leandries. Adds a lot on the end for just single E. And now we're 90 seconds from the next Ocean Drake. It's not Soul for either squad, but feels like pushing towards that. This is one of those points where the Soul might determine who wins the game.
Yeah, it really could. And this 3-item kind of power spike, when that is hit by Altec and Eika, who are closing in on that, I really do think that they have kind of officially outscaled at that point. I really do give them heavily an edge in the team fight stage. So we'll see if they're going to be able to get anything done there. Ruin is the guy who is up a level, who has 3 items earlier than Ornn. But it's so hard to actually get meaningful turret damage down as an Aatrox and Ornn, who has such strong wave clear, without really kind of putting yourself in danger.
Good meaningful damage. Wiggily nearly caught out, but does ward hop back to his teammate. CLG, though, hatching wards right now. They don't have the sweeper available just yet. Only 2 on the entire squad, and Ruin's running back to the bottom side right now, so it's Immortals getting some vision control. Xmithie, always a huge leader in vision score. Actually, him and Hakuho tend to lead the league every year in their respective roles for vision, so Immortals doing a lot with ward killing.
Yeah, I mean, at least then you can kind of give a little bit of a pass because often you're saving wards for ward hops, but look at the vision score between the 2 junglers. 34 vision score there for Wiggily compared to 74 for Xmithie. Has been getting much more done as far as clearing out those wards and placing wards that effectively spot the enemy.
You wouldn't take this? Doesn't have any energy. He takes it, actually. Okay. Wiggily, what did you do there?
Me.
What did you do there? I'm not happy about that play. Cocoon's going to land. They don't even kill the ward. Smoothie got to be careful. Knock up only the support, though. It's not that bad. That's ulti down, and he goes for the re-engage. The ult's going to fist, but the bullet time over the top is damage towards sOAZ, and Xmithie should be an easy target. The kickback is going to set him right into that one. Wiggily stays safe, but does burn his flash. Q's going to land. Don't do it. Don't do it. The teammates are right there. He goes for it, and just the stopwatch. His 1 HP out of Xmithie. He's running away. Oh my gosh, Wiggily gives me heart's attack the entire time in this fight.
Yeah, but they do come out on top. They get another kill there onto sOAZ. So many spells expended to actually kill off that frontliner. Xmithie and sOAZ, they had the equalizer dropped on them. Xmithie barely does slink away, which is key, and I think that's all that stopped CLG from running straight towards that Baron. But a good kill will get them control of the Dragon area. Stixxay is going to start to solo this up, and they can, with this, maintain control on the other side of the map too, around Baron.
Well, solo point here. He ruined the pun. Ruin showed up. It was a... Okay. Well, that one goes down.
You tried.
I certainly did. And unfortunately, it didn't go through, but we still got a very tight game. CLG on soul point. Only 1,500 gold lead. Watch that fight yet again.
Yeah, so this is one more time, right? It's all about kind of contesting for the vision here. Smoothie, the only one hit by the Ornn ultimate. Not a great Ornn ult from sOAZ. Then the bullet time, layered with the equalizer in this tight corridor. You could see the main squad there from Immortals, kind of on this right side of your screen, was really zoned out by Ruin. Ruin moved forward, pushed Altec and Eika back, and by doing that, allowed them to engage aggressively and spend all this time focusing down the front line of sOAZ. So really good team fighting there from CLG to kind of section it off and set themselves up in a way where Altec and Eika just weren't a factor.
Well, the item spikes coming through. You can see both AD carries have finished their third big BF sword item, so huge AD stacks there. As we look down the line, 3 major items done for Ruin. Not the case yet for sOAZ, just the stat efficiency of his passive. Eika moving towards stats cap. That'll be huge when it comes through, but he's still about 2,000 gold away from finishing that one.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You know, Eika just bought the Lost Chapter and basically just sat on that, used it more just for the laning phase.
That's a stun, now traded back, and they bullet time this. They go for the play into Xmithie. Did have flash, but there's the slow. There is the ult over the top, and there's the flash burn for that one. Oh, ult
Ruin
for flash. Turret comes up. I don't think you take this fight, CLG. You can wait out those timers. Wait till your own ults are back up. It's going to be about a minute still for bullet time.
Again, so much of the emphasis here, just put on Ruin, getting his split push advantage, getting a CS advantage, and he's nearly 100 CS up now on sOAZ because sOAZ is grouped with the team, and Ruin is farming it up in a side lane. But they have no vision right now in that brush. Unfortunately, Immortals didn't actually clear out the pink ward in the Baron pit, so they didn't have to face check this, and now they have vision of this starting up. Are they going to try to burn this down? This seems incredibly risky.
Oh, his markings. Smoothie walks to the front. Here comes Ornn,
Ruin
right back. Ruin's in the back. Ruin can do a whole lot here. Gets a bit of damage to Xmithie. Here comes the hard engage. 3v1, but he's staying alive. Here comes the Ornn over the top now as well. Big damage, big stun to the backside. Ruin stopwatch, but he doesn't have a good way out of this one. Takes another route. Has to run back, but he's so low on health. Jumps over the wall. He's a shield to stay alive. And Stixxay chases down Xmithie. CLG withstand that battle and have now pushed Immortals away, who are now missing their smite. If they wanted the Baron play, Smite steal wouldn't happen. Scribes does a lot here to track the movements. And here comes the TP. They're going for the play, CLG.
Yeah, they are starting this up. I'm not sure if sOAZ has a Smite available with the spellbook, if he can swap over to that. But a lot of key abilities on cooldown, and the Immortals are just saying, we're going to have to give this up. They're going to back it up, seed the Baron, and CLG will get a major advantage in this game. Baron buff will be active with this next Ocean Dragon spawning.
Counter Logic Gaming had a 0-4 start to the league and looking like a 2-0 weekend. We watch that fight yet again.
And a lot of this really is about the pressure that Ruin creates, right? This is this guy that they've been putting so many resources into, spending so much time in the side lane. As a result, he's level 18 and incredibly tanky. He buys so much time with that stopwatch and is not able to be knocked down. It allowed Stixxay to get time, run all the way around that outside, get on top of Xmithie and actually take him down. Despite the fact that it looked like a great Ornn ultimate from sOAZ, again, this is another fight where Altec and Eika were not connecting with the correct members, and the positioning in the team fights just seems to be better from CLG in these last couple ones.
Just bit by bit, they're making it happen. We can see the game state here is about a 3,000 gold lead to Counter Logic Gaming. Baron buff on for 2 minutes, and Dragon Soul spawns in 75 seconds. That should go to CLG. Immortals need to plan, craft some kind of a play around that eventuality. CLG should be doing the same.
I mean, I think Immortals have got to contest for it. I don't think you can give over an Ocean Soul and expect to win the game. It feels like it would be such a low chance to be able to take this if you do give that up. But at the same time, you know, what have they really got to be able to kind of move forward? We've seen that CLG have the ability to actually just focus the front line, to knock them down when they are kind of split up from the rest of the squad. Stixxay has had good bullet times across the top. One of the things that you can notice, though, is Stixxay does not have any of his summoners. You know, both the flash as well as the heal are on cooldown, so that's something that could look to be preyed upon. Perhaps an ultimate coming through from Mako, and maybe you could get access to that backline.
Okay, this is the last mid lane wave that matters. 25 seconds, the Drake spawns. CLG going to be the second one to pick it up. The next wave meets the time that the Drake comes up. So that is a bot lane push that works for Ruin. Takes that one down. Mid lane cleared away by Stixxay, gets the shield. And here comes Immortal sitting into this bottom side of the map, taking over the right side jungle. Ruin sitting on a control ward, waiting to see what Immortals might do.
They've got to be quick, though, because this is 5 seconds until spawn. And if Immortals don't have vision on all of them, it could just get rushed down. But for now, they are contesting around this mid lane. They see they have not started up. They know Ruin is over to the side, but again, they're just going to rush it, and you're just giving this up.
Gives it away. Dragon Soul picked up, and with Baron buff, oh, this could be such a sick play, though. Do they get them separated? Is this somehow the big play? They're going for the push on the mid, and it's going to be another recall stop, though. Smoothie, to be fair, it's a 4v3 for CLG elsewhere as they recall, but Smoothie will have to burn flash to get away. Puts on the shields. They're going to run and chase him down as best they can. They might pick up a kill for this one. Burns the ult. They're trying to slow him down. The knockups are there. Smoothie.
He's got Ocean Soul.
Yeah, he's tanky, but they're going to find the re-engage. They ult for damage. They will burn him down. You have to. No way. Okay. The kill is picked up, but that's not maybe as bad as it looks. It's mid lane tier 2 going down, and Immortal's going to kill for a bit of map control.
I don't know. I mean, it felt like such a reach. You know, I get the idea. All right, give them the dragon, but then we stop the recalls and we take the base. But are you really ever going to be able to stop enough members who have Baron recall in that position? I think if there wasn't Baron on CLG, it could have been a good call. But in this case, even with just Crown getting back to base, he can equalize the wave if it's ever threatening. You know, there was no Baron buff on Immortal's side, so now you've given over Ocean Soul. Yes, the Baron buff has expired, but with how Immortals have been playing out these last couple team fights, I question whether they're going to have enough actual damage in the tank to be able to win out on these fights.
Well, the math lines up as 250-ish health over 4 seconds in a team fight, right? So it's 50 some odd health per second, which not trivial, obviously. If you want to compare it directly to a Mountain Soul, it's about 5 seconds of in-combat time, makes it equal. But I do want to highlight that Altec has picked up executioner's calling, and that's a pretty important factor. So if he manages to hit the right targets, okay, now it takes 8 seconds, 9 seconds to equal what a Mountain Soul does. If the fights are shorter than that, you know, you can make the comparison, maybe Ocean Soul isn't hard winning the game for you. If they are slow fights, though, and with how Rune's been playing it, with the stopwatches on CLG, it's likely to be the case. This will do a lot of heavy lifting as the fight goes on.
Yeah, they also have the triple Ocean Dragon,
Sure.
So that's going to be even more regen on top, and it is very difficult to have, you know, executioners applied across the whole squad at the same time, but we will see. You know, there is possibilities of bursting people down, but generally speaking, if you can't insta-kill people against Soul, you will not be killing them at all.
Yep, it adds up, especially as you mentioned, the missing health heal remains in combat this season, and if the fight is slow, yeah, CLG's going to stay topped off. So, Baron buff is gone. We know the Elder Dragon spawning in about 3 minutes. CLG is back to controlling mid. Guardian Angel in there for Wiggily. Ruin level 18, Crown level 18, Stixxay at 17. He's got plenty of stats here as well. Rapid Fire Cannon done on the one side. Hurricane picked up for Altec, which again, I think makes sense when you've got an executioner's build going on. You need to make sure you can apply that debuff.
And 4 essentially melee champions. Yeah. Right? Well, 4 just pure melee champions, so there should be targets for him to hit. And Immortals will have opportunities to be able to win these team fights, but they have got to be better set up when it comes to that team fight. They have oftentimes not really been having correct battle lines, not having their carries able to actually connect with the targets that are being CC'd by their tanks. You have to be really organized in that way. And it does get really, really hard in the side lane because for Ornn, there's just actually no chance you're ever going to kill Ruin no matter what he does at this point with Spirit Visage plus Death Dance plus the Ocean Soul. So, if CLG want to commit to a split push style of play, you can actually just start to ignore the towers and just be hitting this guy over and over and over, hitting the tower, chipping it down.
Okay, Baron, in 8 seconds, and CLG says this is the objective that wins us the game, and they are poised to do so. A 4,000 gold lead they've shot, they've got the soul. And there's no easy epic monster to contest here. Baron is on the map. They're hitting it already. Smoothie is going to be marking the opposing team. Ruin sitting on the far side of the flank, ready to ult him when a fight does start. Wiggily infinitely tanky against Baron here. A little bit of poke comes through. He's got the shields, he's got the soul. There's Ruin finding a spot onto Eika. Can't get across the wall. That was Smoothie. Just only finds that single stun. There's the ult over the top. Pretty decent, finds some slows. But they can't get any kills. That is ulti and ulti down. 3 burned with only 2 down on the Immortals side.
Yeah, flash off of Eika, and you can see the ability for them to just continuously go back to this Baron. They're going to have Ruin just push out this wave, and unless there's a lot of focus on him, you're not going to be able to just poke him down whatsoever. So CLG are going to look to try to have these extended plays. Eika does reset, though, during this time, and is able to hold on to his teleport also, which is a pretty big deal.
Okay, looking again. CLG pushing in the mid lane, and once again turning it around. Single cloud still on them, means they've got some of those ults back already. Aatrox, Leona, Misfortune. Leona's close here. MF had hers from last time. Sweep the ward, they finally kill it. Now once again, mid lane, turret is summoned. It remains mid lane control for Immortals. Eika a few seconds away from the ulti being available on that side. Smoothie once again holding the front line, looking to see when someone comes in. Ruin over the wall. Crown still waiting in the wings. Here comes the re-engage yet again. A slow not going to land, but here comes the re-engage now. More Ruin over the top. Here comes Equalizer up there as well. Hakuho in the front line taking a lot of damage. They're going to burn him down to start. Looking for the re-engage though, but Azonia's Hourglass keeps Crown safe for now. And once again, Immortals forced to run away. TP burn. They're going to go for the mid lane play. It's a bit of a base race attempt there for Immortals, and sOAZ is so very tanky. Recall's coming through, but Xmithie flashes to stop one. Inhibitor is down, and they're going for the Nexus right away. And Immortals look to tie for second. The base is in shambles, and what a play for Immortals!
Can you believe it? Immortals pulling this one out on a brilliant call, TPing Eika over to join Altec. The full call to just interrupt the bases there. This time, this was what was supposed to happen when they made this call around the